What is the best money-making method in Jailbreak? Well, the answer is, it depends on your skill level and the server you join. However, for the sake of simplicity, I will be using some generalizations and a mix of skill levels to find the answer. Now to start, I will be using the Jailbreak changelogs, as the website makes grinding much easier. There are three main ways to use the changelogs. First, you can use their free private servers. It is pretty easy to find an empty one, and you can grind robberies without having to worry about cops. However, robberies don't open up as frequently, and is generally slower than other methods that I will show in this video. The next way is to use the bounty tracker to join servers with high bounties as a cop. The issue with doing this one for me is that I am a very bad cop, so I can't give reliable results about whether this method works. I have heard that it does well, but I don't know. The last method, and the one I'll be testing, is by using the robbery, which can allow you to join a server with almost any robbery. However, which robbery do you do? Jailbreak contains 15 robberies and 2 heists. The 2 heists are the gas station and the donut shop. I will talk about them later since they're not accessible to join using the changelogs. I will additionally be counting money not with any VIP or duffel bags since I don't have any of those game passes and I want to be fair for everybody. Now I'll cross out a few robberies that don't work if you use the changelogs. First, both banks. You need a key card and additionally don't give enough money compared to other robberies. And they also get camped a lot by cops. Next to the oil rig and museum. They both require 2 people and a lot of time is wasted getting another person and they don't give high enough of a payout for that. Additionally, the museum is highly camped by cops. Lastly is the mansion, which requires a ton of time, which makes the good payout just not worth grinding invites and beating the CEO, which is additionally very hard. Now I can find out which robbery is the best. Starting with the jewelry store, it gives a solid 2,750 and takes around 2 minutes to rob. You are going to be a bit faster if you're the first one there, however, so you don't have to go above and through the roof. Another thing to note, however, is that it is almost always available for the changelogs, but can also be camped by cops. I would recommend using the zipline on the roof, since it's the fastest way to turn in the money. Next is the cargo train and the passenger train. There are 2,000 each and take 2 to 3 minutes to rob. However, the passenger train is much slower since you have to go back to the criminal base. However, they're also not that reliable on the changelogs, since they are moving, and they are hard to catch before they leave. Next up is the cargo plane. It gives a solid 4,000 and takes around 2 minutes to rob. While this is moving, you can catch it if you have around 1 minute and 20 seconds until it takes off. Then is the cargo ship. I don't have a good enough helicopter to do it, so I've never done it, and I can't really tell you anything about it, so I don't know, maybe it's good. Now is the power plant. Now when I was doing the time testing for this one, my game was lagging so bad that I was making a ton of mistakes that I normally wouldn't make. I was able to get 5k in 3 minutes, but if you know what you're doing, you can get 6k in 2 minutes. The casino is a very interesting robbery, giving you 4k in 4 minutes. It's relatively easy to get to compared to the power plant for me. Joining a server where the casino is already open could be risky, but then you save some time by not having to disable security or open the vault. Next is the tomb. It is a much harder robbery, but after practice it becomes easy. While you do need 2 people to open it, you could also just join a server where it is already open. I was able to get 7k in a bit over 2 minutes, making it one of the best robberies, especially about a duffel bag. Lastly, the best robbery in my opinion is the bank truck. You spawn in as a cop, preferably on a server with a small number of cops and criminals, so the experience goes smoothly. Then you either spawn right next to it or next to a helicopter pad. Then you can drive it to your location. I was able to get $8,500 in just around a minute, making it the best money-giving robbery for the least amount of time. However, there's one crucial issue. You can only access it every 15 minutes, making it actually be $8,500 in 15 minutes. However, I'll talk about this later. So you know how I said the bank truck was the last robbery? Well, I actually didn't mention the gas station and donut shop. Sure, they don't give too much money, but you can rob them very quickly. I was able to get $750 in just 50 seconds for both shops. Also, since you can't join them on the changelogs, you just literally join any server and they're almost always open. So what is the best robbery? Well, after compiling all of the times into a chart, we get this. I think few things to note is just how bad the passenger train is. It's literally slower than the mini robberies. To go back to the question, the best robbery is technically the bank truck, but it's also technically the worst due to the cooldown. So the best one is the power plant and tomb, right? However, if you combine the bank truck with other robberies, you can make the best robbery grinding strategy. See, the bank truck can be done every 15 minutes, so here's a chart showing what you should do. You spend the first 2 minutes doing the bank truck and searching for a new robbery. You can then either do the tomb or the power plant, since they give similar amounts of money, but power could be a bit better if you're good at it. Then you can do either of those robberies 4 more times, but then after that you can start over doing the bank truck again. Doing this method will give you around 36.5k in just 15 minutes. That's around 2.4k per minute. Now you might be asking, math is fun and all, but does it really work? Well, here are the results. I started off by doing the bank truck. I was only able to do 3 tomb robberies instead of 4 due to waiting, among other issues. Then, when I was supposed to get a bank truck robbery for the next cycle, it didn't show up, so I had to do the gas station instead. So I made a total of around 30k in 15 minutes, which is 2,000 per minute. It could have been better if I was more lucky, however this by far is the best method, even with waiting, mistakes, and the bank truck. Tell me in the comments if you know any better strategies and how this one works for you, and please consider subscribing.